Don't fall for this Windows 10 scam, how to speak startup, and your mother told you hitchhiking wasn't safe. Tech News Tonight is next.
This is Twit.
This is Tech News Tonight, episode 394 for Monday, August 3rd, 2015. This episode is brought to you by Intel. Small business owners can't afford to choose between A or B. If both help your business, you want A and B. With Intel-powered 2-in-1s, you get performance and mobility, power and freedom. That's the power of and. Experience it at smallbusiness.intel.com. Welcome, I am Megan Maroney. Let's get to today's big news. Here is an update to a story Mike Elgin reported this morning on Tech News Today. It is official. The Finnish telecommunications company HERE has sold its mapping business to Audi, BMW, and Mercedes for $3.07 billion. Having this kind of mapping technology built into cars isn't about making things easier on drivers. It's about making things easier and safer in the not-so-distant future when there will be no drivers. HERE technology can collect data and share real-time updates on traffic, parking, and other variables with other vehicles, which will be crucial to saving safer self-driving cars. And in other self-driving car news, The Guardian reports that Google has had its own car company since 2011. Google Auto LLC is headed by Chris Urmson, head of the autonomous driver unit. It's also listed as the official manufacturer of the 23 self-driving Google Lexus cars currently cruising the streets of Mountain View and Austin. The Guardian surmises that setting up Google Auto as a subsidiary was a way of avoiding risk in case things went terribly wrong with the self-driving cars. Too impatient to wait for your turn for Windows 10? Trying to skip ahead could cost you. In a blog post today, Cisco researcher Nick Biancini says cybercriminals are sending fake emails to unsuspecting Windows users as offers to download the OS sooner than Microsoft decides to make it available to you. This is called ransomware. The email uses all the standard threats and promises, and once you download and install the alleged installer, you're treated to an alert that your files have been held for ransom and you'll have to pay to get them back. Microsoft will not email you with Windows 10, so please don't fall for this scam. Engadget reports today on the world's first braille smartwatch. It's called Dots, and it features a series of dull pins that rise and fall at customizable speeds, spelling out words in braille as you touch it. The device not only tells time, but also includes an e-reader, a messaging system, and navigation. Pre-orders start this year with a target price under $300. If you're still upset about the American dentist who killed Cecil the lion in Zimbabwe, please don't participate in internet mob justice. There's a better way to show that you care. GeekWire says a group of students from Nepal are competing for the $50,000 Microsoft Imagine Cup Student Technology Prize with a game that lets you pretend to kill animal poachers. The first-person shooter is called Defend Your Territory, and it's set in a futuristic world where decades of poaching have knocked Earth's ecosystem off-kilter and left the planet a barren desert. The last hope for restoration involves sending a cyborg back in time to hunt the poachers. I'm voting for them. Coming up, a supplement that's not green nor made of people, and the little blue bird takes a nosedive. But first, for small business owners, there's no room for compromise. You can't afford to choose between A or B. If both will help your business, you want A and B. It's not hard work or innovation that drives your business. It's hard work and innovation, versatility and strength. With Intel-powered 2-in-1s, you don't have to choose between a laptop or a tablet. You get both, performance and freedom. Powered by Intel's latest family of core processors, you can impress clients at the touch of a tablet and handle robust programs on the go. You can do it right, and you can do it right now. There's a better way to work. That's the power of and. Experience it at smallbusiness.intel.com. Fifth-generation Intel Core processor-based laptops run business applications up to 2.5 times faster than on a 4-year-old laptop. The battery life of a fifth-generation Intel Core processor-based laptop runs up to 8.7 hours or 2.6 times longer than a 4-year-old laptop. The Intel Core M processor-based 2-in-1 delivers a razor-thin tablet and ultra-fast laptop in a single mobile device. That's the optimal combination of business-class performance and battery life. Intel Wireless Display, both 5th Gen Core and Core M, wirelessly stream all the things you need: presentations, videos, websites, and more live from your PC to your display. If you want to know more, follow Intel's small business account on Twitter at Intel Small Biz. Experience the power of and visit smallbusiness.intel.com and find out how Intel-powered 2-in-1s can improve your small business. That's smallbusiness.intel.com, and we thank Intel for their support of Tech News Tonight. Is your unicorn pivoting? Does the growth in price of $4 toast make you cash flow positive or cash flow negative? Joining us to explain what the heck I'm talking about it is Alex Wilhelm, writer at TechCrunch and the author of the article How to Speak Startup. Welcome back, Alex.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. So this is part 2 in a 2-part series. What compelled you to write these pieces?
Well, maybe a multi-part series. We can just keep going as long as we still have ideas. But the issue was we got so sick of the jargon that permeates our language out here in Silicon Valley that we kind of wanted to make fun of it, but also being kind of mean at the same time. We weren't really going for niceness. But the jokes are just designed to kind of poke fun at how we talk about things and kind of what we say out loud that's actually really silly and stupid, but we don't actually realize how silly we sound.
So by this, it sounds like you think this bubble is about to burst. Like we're on the cusp of all this money just being, shoved into San Francisco, and then maybe it's not going to last?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm predicting a short-term bubble implosion. I think that's a little too aggressive. It may happen, but I certainly have no insight to see it's coming in the next couple of months. But, we're seeing things get increasingly out of whack and a little, odd and fun. So it's a moment to enjoy because I don't have a lot of money invested, so I'm not going to get hurt if this goes away. So I'm kind of a bystander, if you will.
So do you buy $5 toast or $4 toast, or do you make?
I have bought really expensive toast. Yeah, I don't know if it was $5 or $6 or $4, but it was a lot of money for toast. But if you live in that sect, you got to try these things.
Right,
you can't not do it.
Yeah, and you brunch a lot. I know that from Twitter.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to brunch less because I was dropping like $150 a week on brunch, and I was like, it's probably too much. So I'm going to dial that one back in, actually.
So over the weekend, the New York Times had a piece that was similar about why some startups are called tech companies and other just called companies.
Yeah.
Like I get it with Uber, they're a transportation company, but tech was the real game changer for them. But now the game has really changed. Does it make sense to call every company with an app a tech company?
No, and also not everyone's a startup. People still call Uber a startup, and they're actually a very well-funded, multinational technology company. So it's not really the same thing. But these are two words that have been so stretched, kind of like cloud and big data, to the point which they have really no meaning left at all. So I don't get that annoyed either direction. But I mean, I think if you want to call yourself a tech company, you're harking back a lot to the 90s when everyone wanted to say they were an internet company. So people would just say, we're going to do some internet, and their stock price would go up. So I think the same lift that was evident and present at that time is being, echoed now. So again, history rhymes, doesn't repeat, but I kind of just giggle at people that are too worried about this, I'd say.
So how would you define a tech company?
I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I could sit down right now and write you 10 different definitions, all of which I agree with about the same amount. General principles are easy. Has a technology focus. It's probably not an oil company, probably deals with mobile or the internet in some capacity, does hardware that powers that sort of thing. I mean, tech is just such a big family. I'm not too bent up on trying to be exclusionary from it, but I mean, certainly a plumber is not a tech company.
So a lot of this is just like the geek tech culture, like, a lot of the food startups and things that people in San Francisco love. Or like today, there were tons of articles about Soylent 2, which
yes.
is not a tech company, but yet this was written about in a lot of different tech journalism. Tell us what Soylent 2
Well, I mean, it's innovation to a certain extent. And I think that when you couple that with a tech-focused audience, you often get grouped into the tech companies. But going back to the Uber example, I mean, Uber doesn't own cars per se. They run a platform that can see two drivers in cars. That's different than a taxi company that owns cars and has an app to help you find them, right? So there's a slight capital distinction there. WeWork, for example, the big co-working place, doesn't actually own buildings. They lease them. So they're not a tech company either, but they're also not a real estate company. So you end up kind of in between definitions that were, I think, once a lot clearer and have now become a lot more blurred. And that may be the technology glue that's confusing people on kind of what actually is a tech company.
So one of the jokes in your How to Speak Startup article is about Twitter user growth, which you write as the definition not found. That was funny, but a lot of people at Twitter are probably not laughing very much today. What happened to the Twitter stock today, and why do you think that happened?
Well, Twitter's been down a lot. They're actually now below $30 a share. They only went public at $26 a share. And the rough story is, in the last quarter, they showed even worse user growth on a sequential basis than was expected. And, I'm a huge Twitter fan, so I'm definitely not a hater. I've been using Twitter since 2007, and I live and die by it. So I'm kind of saddened to see it not do well. But, if Twitter can't find a way to grow with its core and SMS-based usership, I should say, then their future cash flows are deprecated, and that makes them worth less money. And right now, in a really kind of bit of historical irony, Twitter is now priced roughly equivalent to the original WhatsApp purchase. So what Facebook bought for $19 billion is now about what Twitter is worth. Now, the WhatsApp price has gone up a lot because the Facebook stock component of that deal has risen in value. But the original WhatsApp price is now worth as much as Twitter. That's a big change. That's a noticeable change that we should keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to see Twitter as this amazing thing that everyone loves. If you're a journalist and you talk to journalists all the time, then it is. But the rest of the world is not really using it as much as they need to be for it to be successful.
No, I agree. I think, when you go on Twitter, we have a built-in audience leverage from our writing or video careers. And so people follow us and interact with us, and it's a lot of fun. But I think for most people, they tweet and then nothing happens. And eventually, if you keep doing that and nothing happens, you give up because there's no actual comeback to you. And I think that Twitter could have made it easier maybe to build self-phasing networks earlier on, but that's not part of the core product now. So, I think that there's, some serious issues with Twitter's service as it is, but at the same time, I don't want them to change it. I'm selfish. Twitter works great for me, and it has worked for so long. But, at the same time, I think I would be willing to sacrifice part of my user experience if Twitter could grow again.
So let's talk a little bit about Windows 10. It's been out for nearly a week.
The never-ending story, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and you've been using it for longer than a week, and presumably you've been using pre-load versions. What do you think so far of the real thing?
Well, it's odd. When the actual RTM or RTM equivalent build came out, it was very similar to what we've been using for some time. I think it was build 10.240. And so for people like me and you that have been using it for some time, it wasn't a surprise at all. But what I was surprised by was the overall quality of the reviews that it picked up. I mean, Windows 10 was decently well reviewed kind of everywhere. I didn't see a lot of yellow cards pulled out or any red cards really. So I think Microsoft kind of won that initial launch cycle. And then now the question is how fast they can grow it. So I think that we're kind of in a stasis point or a standstill in terms of what comes next for it, because now we need numbers, 25 million users, 100 million users, whatever it is.
Well, Alex, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Alex Wilhelm is a writer at TechCrunch and at Alex on Twitter. Is there anything else you're working on that you can tell us about?
That would be a state secret, so no. Okay. And the answer is I'm not working on anything right now, so I'm kidding.
All right. Well, take care, Alex.
All right, see y'all.
Bye-bye. Have you heard about HitchBOT, the hitchhiking robot? He was the adorable robot in rain boots trying to make his way across the United States in the cars of kind strangers. HitchBOT traveled through Boston, Salem, Gloucester, Marblehead, and New York City, completing several items on his robot bucket list. But over the weekend, we learned that hitchhiking is dangerous, even if you're a robot. Surveillance footage shows a group of robot-hating hoodlums in Philadelphia destroying HitchBOT beyond repair. But today, we discovered that the kindness of strangers is still alive and well, even if HitchBOT is not. CNBC News in Canada reports that offers are pouring in to help rebuild HitchBOT. The creators have not said yet if they are ready to rebuild, but we hope that they are. And that is it for this edition of Tech News Tonight. We are on Facebook. You can search for Tech News Tonight. Use the number 2. You can like us to get links to the show when it's posted and the stories we talk about. And if you want to be part of the conversation, post a comment on the stories up there. On Friday, I talked to Harrison Weber from VentureBeat about Facebook's rise on mobile, and we wondered if there would come a time when we'd only use mobile devices. Gilbert Davis wrote, "This mobile-only talk is nonsense. I don't understand what is the need or desire to want to push desktops out of the picture. Folks like me have a desktop and mobile connections." Thank you for your comment, Gilbert. I think a lot of us still have both, and we just wonder if that will always be the way. If you have an opinion, we want to hear it. Post on Facebook or write to us at tn2@twit.tv. You can also subscribe to the show at twit.tv/tn2. And of course, you can watch live every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And don't miss our morning news program, Tech News Today, every weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm Megan Maroney. Thanks for watching.
Bandwidth for Tech News Tonight is brought to you by CashFly.com.